Well, this has been an exciting game. Very fun to play, and we're going to continue it right now. Hello, everyone. This is Gamer1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Strategic Command American Civil War. Now, this is the one from the DLC version that has France coming into the war. And I know not everyone's watched all the videos. So to give a bit of a recap here, what has happened is, France has come into the war. We were able to, after some struggle, get control of the lower Mississippi Valley, or not valley, river. And now we can see a lot of Confederates. Early on, it took some French corps to really clear this up, but they've gone over to Mexico now. Got a lot of Confederates here sort of moving up somewhat out of place. If we can get control of the Mississippi here and do it. And so things were looking really good for the Confederacy. And then a lot of the units that I think were destroyed, plus just generally allowed to build some more units, the Union with its industrial power has really brought in a bunch of corps. We've had to, those are 2 corps there. We've got to retreat with only just 1 division. The rest are brigades or regiments. There's 3 corps there. This is a mix of corps and divisions and whatnot here guarding Washington, still keeping 1 rail link out. And so the Union was really getting to the point that it could really start pushing us. But then the English came in, which has really given us a second life and being able to push on all of this here. Now we do see a corps with faced off against a brigade, another brigade up here. I haven't quite wanted to retreat out of Alexandria. Still don't know why I can't build forts. I don't know whether I should keep this force concentrated and push down into New Hampshire and Vermont towards Boston, or should I divert one of the corps, probably do it via rail, and get it down here to oppose here on the Great Lakes on Ontario. We do have a corps and a division facing against a division and a brigade there. So we're doing fairly well there. We're doing well out in the west, about ready to recapture most of Missouri for the Confederacy. And down here in Mexico, we had been, well, I don't know if overwhelmed's quite right, but we had been sort of stalemated, and then going on the offensive just was not a practical thing until we got these 2 corps that had been fighting in maybe just to there. In the Mississippi Valley. Okay, see, now we're going to be able to push a little better, I think. Yeah, I think we will. Oh, that was actually quite effective. Take that shot there. Swap that out. That was actually pretty good hit there. And see what we can do there. Now down here we've sort of kind of flubbed it a bit. So that was helpful. That was useful. Okay, well, if we can keep that up a bit. Run out of supplies somewhat there. Now, Spain also came in, which, well, don't know how much good it's going to do us. We are having to, let's see if we can hit them pretty hard. Deal with rebels in many of the colonies. Basically being supported by U.S. arms shipments, or so it would seem. give them a little bit of a threat on their border there. Now we have got, which don't quite want to go that big. Oh boy, we got a lot of stuff here there. Oh, this came up from the south, I think. Right. Or have I just been missing it all this time? I might have. Now, the Royal Navy and the French Navy in this era were the two main competitive navies in existence. And there were varying levels of cooperation and competition between France and Britain. Britain had gone through hundreds of years of wars with France. The 18th century saw steady progress in victories for Britain over France. France loses, well, almost all of its North American colonies except I don't even know if it's would be on this map, or it's, I think it somewhere out here there's still a small little island colony thing here that's a French colony. I think it's a bit maybe more to the north. I think it may be a little bit more up here, but I'm not quite sure. What France was able to hold on to was, although some trading back and forth, was some of its very valuable sugar colonies here, down here. Particularly Guadeloupe, they were able to hold on to, and Martinique down here, and able to hold that too much of the Napoleonic War. More of a slave revolt cost them hit Haiti than anything the French or the British really did. So don't know where we're going to see the next breakout of rebels. Well, yeah, maybe sitting in between the two cities is about as good as anything. Able to react there. And obviously they lost out on, Quebec and the Louisiana territories. And Louisiana was just to the point of not going to be able to be held by the French as they saw it. So they might as well sell it to the Americans, or Napoleon sell it to the Americans as lose it later on. Okay, well, we might as well try to get up if we can. Oh, well, I'm going to want these guys down here in sort of supply, I think. Do better. Reinforce them. Okay, well, they can come up to here. The River Ironclad will Get just off those troops. Move up the timber clads. Oh, do. Where's supply? Okay, so we got into a little bit of supply there. All right. Well, if you go too far out in here, you're just going to lose any supply possibilities. The weak brigades and regiments out there will not really be able to hold against any sort of determined attack, but oh well, you didn't retreat, so I think we'll take you out. Very good. Okay, well, thinking of railroads, I should say. Didn't mention them. Okay, yes, we want to get these onto the main sort of line where we can send them somewhere. We'll get these reinforced. I think they'll come up and join up here. We can press hard with a couple of cores, so don't want to lose any more HQs. Well, I think that, I don't know that that's good enough, but I'm hoping some of my pressure here. Okay, well, with the, oh no, he's guarding Lee. Okay. Okay, well, you've taken a big hit, so go back to port. I'm going to sit off there if they come out with any fleets. Right, well, let's see about purchasing some units. No, I wish there was one more intermediate zoom point. Or 765. We got 800. So yes, I think we'll go with another French corps. And for Britain, I think one would be nice too. The Confederacy. Well, with all of those, really like some more headquarters, but with all of those, you know, Spanish, French, and British ships, I don't know that we need any more units. Gunboats are just so weak. Any more units there. What we could maybe do is see about putting some more research into some tactics here, or other capabilities like production technologies. Warfare. Well, and do skirmishers. And okay, we got organization. Some of these infantry equipment, forts and lighthouses as high as they can go. Infantry tactics, leadership, telegraph. Well, I guess we'll save it for the rest of the points for reinforcements and whatnot. All right, let's give them their turn. Yeah, I'm gonna go suffer losses. Okay. Looks like we're seeing Union partisans. Yeah. Enemy contact. Them coming down. Oh. Yeah, I was afraid that we were going to lose that guy. That's why I moved him all the way back here. Did I forget to move him? I may have. Well, we're getting a lot of intelligence reports, and some of them are actually useful. Some of them are often like, hey, there's this, unit way deep in enemy territory somewhere, and, well, yeah, that's nice, but nice to know, but that's not like anywhere near where we're going to be going anytime soon. Okay, well. I'm still not sure about how much I should send where there. We just had this guy get up there with the HQ for these guys, I think. Let's head up here. We might get him on the rails from there. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, they're pushing hard from over there. Okay, down there, good. Bye-bye. We're only to 7. Okay, guys, I think we need to pull back from up in Gettysburg. We'll move to Gettysburg. Push on these guys with 3 corps. Well, that's a bit much, I think. Well, let's see. Push there. Well, not as hard as I would have liked, but still. Well, let's come down here where there's mostly good news. Could we expose that? I really hate bumping into these units. Need the army in good shape to push properly. And if this is the turn to do that, then that's what it'll be. Very good. Ow. Well, that was good up until that point. Then everything went to hell. Okay, we've got to extract ourselves from here. We can get down to here. These guys can come back to here. These guys can come to here. Okay, consolidation there is good. Come off the front line. You come up to there. You come up to here, I guess. There, I can build a fortress. I can fortify that. Let's... We can't do... Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, if we do less sides, well, oh, that's... Okay, sides will determine how long it takes. All right, this is the first time I've really been able to build a fort. So if we go 4 sides, leave that out, 180 days. Well, go for it. Maybe it's we gotta be all around. I don't know. Okay, we got the one Union vessel there. Down here, hello guys. You know how you're always complaining how hot it is down in the, engine room of these steamships? Well, we're getting you to northern environments. It'll be warmer, trust me. Okay, now here. Yeah, get up to there, get up to there. You're not quite yet up to there. There you are. Can we get to that port? I don't know. Okay, so some retreating, some advancing. Let's see if we can get you, yes, out to here again. That's where we sort of messed up. Didn't use you well. You guys get to the railway links. Well, never mind. See if we can get that there. We'll put these guys there. There we go. Let's take a look at Cuba. Spain should not have entered this war. I was asking it to enter. I'm not saying I didn't want the help or something. It's just from the Spanish viewpoint. Would have been better if they stayed out. From their viewpoint. Here. Okay. These guys, they need to withdraw. Hopefully they'll have some supply there. No. Oh, okay. Oh, them. It looks like they may get supply. I don't know. Okay, that's grinding on them a bit. Let's start moving you down because it just may be not sending enough. Horses, that is. Okay, you want to get in there, get that. Good. You guys out here, hello. Well, that'll definitely help on the flanks, make them a little more worried down here. At least we're pushing on them something. Now, so Lawrence, Kansas. I think that's Lawrence, Kansas would be out here. Nobody there. Maybe they've just given up everything in the west? Nope, not everything. Really, you should take a little more time than I am and play this a little more methodically with all these different fronts and everything else. I'm jumping around and forgetting what I had done this turn on the front. We're going to need... Yeah, there is just the thing of concentrated force to push down in here, which will flank and cut off these guys, which will allow us to push more from there. I'll have to decide, is it Washington or is it the north east up there? What are they going to try to hold? Can they hold it all? Really sort of not feeling the necessary need for much naval forces, particularly out here. Still, they're building a few ships up north, causing us a little bit of a headache, it seems. Keep coming down out of here. Apache attacks forces in New Mexico. Very good. Okay, so, yep, that all looks good. Confederate major victory. Ah, I didn't expect so soon. I'm only seeing our problems, I guess. I don't know how much is just time to the date. Wow, I was not expecting this to be over so soon. Well, they've got too many HQs down here. I don't know why they have so many. I mean, they may have just been appeared on the map, but I presume they could have built them somewhere else. I probably contributed to the U.S. defeat, but probably not much as it's seen, because we really haven't, you know, cruised in deep into the Union. You know, we've got Memphis back and Tennessee there. We're getting much of Missouri back, and Missouri was a slave state. Kentucky was a slave state. Yeah. I got 3 HQs here. A couple of trap divisions. A brigade holding there. Brigade, yeah. Definitely I was seeing these when I was up, you know, seeing those cores there and worried about them pounding on me. I don't know if this is a mismanagement of the AI or what, that there isn't like a, or is it just a, you know, MPP problem that they couldn't get, you know, choosing to get the cores here and not the HQs, because I would definitely do the HQs over the cores. I mean, do the cores over the HQs. And they were definitely pushing back into here. That's a partisan unit that showed up there. Another one showed up here, I noticed. America's Navy ballooned during the American Civil War. Like we've seen in this game, it could not stand up, even how big it got. It could not stand up to the European powers, as far as I can tell. I'm not a greatest expert on naval strength, but there was a lot more warship building knowledge in France and Britain, like I was saying earlier, than the United States. The United States was often arming civilian vessels, which can take the cannons, maybe depending on what cannons you're putting on them, but aren't necessarily built as stout. And it was a good enough Navy, and a reasonably good Navy, but a good enough Navy to blockade the South. But maybe taking on something like the Spanish fleet at its height, if it could concentrate. Now, if the Spanish fleet, this represents, the number of ironclads that the Spanish fleet had at that point. If it can concentrate that, the American fleet that's spread out everywhere blockading and is mostly wooden timber fleet, because I think the overwhelming majority, if not much more, of the American fleet was the seagoing fleet, shall we say, was wooden ships. We did see because these are Mortimer style, with the sort of cheese box turret with two guns in it. They made more than that, made more than the one of the Virginia versus the Mortimer battle that happened down here. But they definitely used them at various points for going in, but they're very much a coastal ship. And then they did use, I think from photos, more the Confederate, what we might think of the Confederate style, ironclad, in which is a, angled in long box shape of the whole kind of thing for their river ones. River ironclads and timberclads were both that sort of kind of thing. And timberclads, you get some good hardwood, you make it thick, and that's even most of the ironclads were backed up with a lot of timber. That was expected to do that. Expected to do the major absorption of incoming heavy rounds. And those were very much used as, go up and shoot them in the face kind of thing to the Confederate batteries and just overwhelm them. So, yeah, I can see, I wasn't seeing all their problems here. We can see, Union flags. And by, they just don't have the depth here. Now, I would say I've come around to the thinking that if the U.S. reacted badly, I don't know what was said, but if the U.S. said things, U.S. government officials at a high enough rank said enough that would convince Napoleon III that the Union was going to go to war with the French, at least in Mexico, saying, like, well, as soon as we're done cleaning up these damn rebels, we're going to send our armies and clean out Mexico of all French soldiers or something like that. Which is a bit different than saying we're going to invade France. Obviously, America could not really do a transatlantic invasion or go after other, shall we say, established French colonies that were mostly making them quite a bit of money out here. The sort of sugar colonies were making quite a bit of money for the French. If they were going after all of that, they're saying things like that. That it's going to be all-out war with the French and not just limited to whatever's found in the theater of operations of Mexico. I could see the idea of Napoleon III coming in on the side of the Confederates. I really don't see the British, because even if you're going to, and yes, I did put a little bit of MPP towards getting Britain and Spain in here. Even if we think the Confederacy, now, Confederacy is winning, it doesn't mean it's taken over the North and it's all going to be slave states. No, it's just the Union recognizes Southern independence. I don't know at this stage what would have happened with West Virginia. West Virginia, as far as I can tell, is an illegal state to this day. Because and I don't know how to frame this well because some of the stuff I've read recently, and over lawsuits of Virginia that after the Civil War, lawsuits over West Virginia, over the idea that Virginia did not approve of West Virginia leaving, and it needed to, and it's to deal with the status, because either Virginia was a lawful state government, or it wasn't. And if it wasn't, then you need to go through the approval situation and let it go. Or if it was the lawful state government, I don't know. I'm mixing that. But just somehow, some of the technical, because right now there are a lot of people, you can't really get over there, but in Greater Idaho is a good example, that a lot of people in places like in much of the state or much of the states of Oregon and Washington State, much of the territory wants to go be part of Idaho because they do not like to be governed by leftist lunatics, and they're probably American, I don't know if conservative is the right term, but very much the opposite of the leftist lunatics. Not that they're like a bunch of religious hardliners. It's just more, freedom, liberty, limited government, no communism kind of thing. Old style liberals, And now they represent like 30% of the population or something. So, but they represent like 60% of the territory of the state, just because everybody's living right along the coast in the state. Now, the state doesn't want to give up its territory, and it's just going to, we're going to tell those damn, fascists or whatever they probably call them, how to live, because we're right and we know it. Where there is nothing against the idea of, states trading territories or splitting up of states. Now, they have to be approved by Congress, although one of them is pre-approved. If Texas wants to divide up to 4 states, Texas can just do so. That was part of its agreement on joining the Union because it was such a big territory, but at the time, underpopulated. Not underpopulated for a state compared to other states, but underpopulated for a state, um, you know, as big as it was, meaning had enough population to easily form a state in the Union, but not enough population to, say, form 4 states. And there's been a lot of people moving to Texas, especially since the advent of common air conditioners everywhere. So you could divide up Texas in up to 4 things. Now, why would you? Well, one, maybe there's, a bunch of leftists in San Antonio that don't like to be, that's where the capital is, don't like to be where the, ruled by the conservatives or whatever, the right wingers in Texas, or, something like that. Now, the other sort of vote left are particularly Dallas is a lot of black voters in its city center, but not in its suburbs. So that's why you always get Sheila Jackson Lee, black woman, vote out of Dallas, who's very left wing, but in a overall conservative state. But those are mostly isolated to urban zones. But in a way, what really makes it powerful, or the reason they might want to do that, is to get more senators in the Senate. Because if it were to split into, half, east and west, or north and south, probably be east and west, but I don't know how you would do that. Texas, that would double the number of senators from Texas. And they would probably all be, if they drew the lines right and didn't include Houston and Dallas all in one part of the state, do it right, that you would get, 4 Republican senators instead of just 2. But there's reasons for and against adding to a state, and not, splitting a state. Another case that overwhelmingly the majority of the territory of New York State is rather conservative. And I'm distinguishing this because these are much more conservative people, where the West are much more sort of out in like Washington and Oregon. The West, it's different. We out here in the West are more like, yeah, hey, yeah, cool, the weird hippies in San Francisco, great, yeah, do your thing. And we've always sort of been that. And yeah, and they're going to vote left and whatever, but yeah, cool, you get to be weird hippies. We don't really care. What we're now disliking is that the weird hippies have come to outnumber us out here in the West and are now telling us how to live. Where we were like, mostly out here in the West, it was like, yeah, there was a few religious loons that were, being religious loons. And I don't mean just because they believed in religion. I mean because some of the things they said, and were trying to make everyone live by exactly the way they wanted them to live, not just because they believed what they believed, but trying to, enforce that on other people. See, again, this is sort of my Westernism, and sort of, let people do what they want. Where you get more, especially in the Northeast, remember, this is where the Puritans were, and some of these other religious loons, as I would call them, as well. And so there's this sort of Puritan kind of stuff going on. And so, yeah, New York State is the great overwhelming majority of the territory is very conservative. It's just New York City and its greater environments, and to the point, though I think there is a conservative Republican out here on Long Island, congressman. But New York City is so huge of a population, and so overwhelming left, at least the way it votes. So out here, you may get 60-40, 60% conservative, 40% left. Here, it's like 80-20, 80% left, 20%. So between the mix of them, it's just always going to, or most always going to be a Democrat governors, Democrat senators, and on a rare occasion, once these guys go lunatic enough left, that even the middle will go, wait a minute, you've gone too far, and elect a Republican who's just sort of a mild Republican. But yeah, it's the way it normally goes up here. So yeah, then, because if I was New York populace, and I know there's lots of tax revenue because of New York City and things like that, but I would just go, New York City, you can keep Long Island, just, coastal New York, create sort of a city-state, if you will, like the old Greek city-states. It's a state within the United States, but otherwise just make that out there and, do your thing, and then just, and there's easily enough population out here to qualify as a state where you get like, Rhode Island, which is, actually sort of mostly an island, and some of these other places that Vermont and, New Hampshire that are really in Maine. There's almost nobody living up here in Maine. It's just along the coast, and it's very small populations. But yeah, and I would just do, I would want to split that up. Yeah, and create probably another, I don't know that I'd split up Texas, but yeah, I'd probably create somewhere between 4 and 6 more states around, just to better represent the people, because these people are going to be left. These people want to be right. These people want to have guns in their home. These people want to ban all guns anywhere in the city, and so that only the criminals have guns, and all the criminals will have guns or baseball bats. But either way, let them live the way they want to live. And I guess that's sort of my sort of, Western viewpoint from the Americans, because I am a Westerner, and I don't mean that I wear cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. I mean a sort of Western values versus Eastern kind of thing. But yeah, okay. So that's, I guess, sort of wrapping up this series. Hopefully it was fun to watch. Love to hear your comments. Got some other stuff for alternative stuff, because I do want to try to, as much as I can. I don't do enough. And quite honestly, it is some of this other content pulls down some of the main content on the YouTube algorithm, how it works. But I do want to do non-Hearts of Iron stuff, because I love this stuff too. But the Strategic Command, there's quite a bit of Strategic Command content on the site, or on the channel, of course. But it's not. It's other war games, other historical war games, and then periodically, like a Warhammer or other cool fantasy war game, science fiction, whatever, occasional. And I want to keep doing that while continuing, Hearts of Iron 2 or Hearts of Iron 3 and 4, sort of the main videos and whatnot. But yeah, so love hearing from you. See you next time for more, yes, even more historical gaming.